What if I told you that 4 Japanese heroes fought off an evil villain to rescue a princess, and a legend that was powerful before became even more powerful in 3D holds a piece of my gaming heart to this day? Join me on a trip down memory lane again as I uncover my top 5 Nintendo 64 games. These games aren't just classics but personal legends of mine. You might be surprised yet again by some of my picks, or maybe you'll find your own forgotten favourites. If you've enjoyed this series so far, please feel free to check out the other episodes that are currently out there. But other than that, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave your views in the comments down below. Let's go. Before I dive into the main content, I want to mention our affiliate link. This channel's affiliate linked with the Rugged Gamer's online store, Nerd Bazaar. The Nerd Bazaar offers a wide variety of products from Dungeons and Dragons, dice sets and tabletop cards to detailed 3D figures, statues and collectibles. Check out the link down below and use code FLIPBOOK24 at the checkout store to get 10% off your purchases that you buy. From the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo 64. During the 90s, Nintendo strategically saturated the North American market with an extensive range of household products and media tie-ins, from animated television programs such as the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which featured beloved series including Captain N, the Games Master, The Legend of Zelda, and the Super Mario Bros., to an impressive array of toys, figures, and merchandise, plus even cereals. A number of animated television shows actually made it across the Atlantic and was featured on British television networks. I have fond memories of this, sitting down over breakfast watching Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World whilst eating my breakfast before school. It wasn't until later, when the VHS release of other animations such as Captain N, the Game Master, and The Legend of Zelda, that I came across them for the very first time. Nintendo cleverly utilised every available avenue for marketing channels to sell and advertise their products across multiple platforms, which is precisely why I became so deeply hooked on the Legend of Zelda franchise above all other gaming series that Nintendo produced. At the time, I was constantly purchasing and collecting Nintendo magazines on a regular basis for their in-depth reviews, helpful tips, and exciting demos of upcoming releases. That's when I come across an announcement of the next generation console, the Nintendo 64. With that, the gaming world began to buzz with anticipation from what I read. When compared to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System that dominated the previous generation, the Nintendo 64 completely and fundamentally changed my entire outlook and perspective on gaming as a whole. The remarkable improvements in graphic quality, the depth and scale of the three-dimensional environments, and enhanced sound capabilities was absolutely brilliant and impressive thanks to the console's advanced hardware specifications. The system's RAM could be upgraded from a standard 4MB to an enhanced 8MB with an additional of an extension pack that was sold separate. However, I personally never bothered with this purchase because I was more interested in playing and experiencing the games. Anyway, I could talk about the history of consoles and generations in total on its own. If you'd like to see this type of video, be sure to type in the comment section down below. Let's go. And whilst you're there, hit the like button and share amongst friends. Now, let's go through the top 5 games that I played. Number 5, Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is a landmark 3D platform game released back in 1996 for the Nintendo 64. Booting up the game for the very first time and seeing Mario's 3D motion capture face floating at the main menu with that classic beloved Mario theme song still holds a vivid memory to this day. The story of the game goes as follows. Princess Peach invites Mario to a castle for a piece of cake. When on arrival, Mario finds out that Bowser had kidnapped her and took over the castle. Whilst there, he stole 120 power stars that keeps the castle safe. Bowser ends up trapping servants through paintings that are portals to other worlds. Mario must jump through these paintings to access these worlds in order to collect back those stars to rescue Princess Peach. The main hub is Princess Peach's castle. You enter 15 difficult levels by jumping into the paintings. As Mario collects more stars, new parts of the castle unlock, like different floors and basements, giving you access to harder levels and boss fights. The gameplay changes 3D gaming forever with its exploration and camera system that moves freely. Mario can do loads of difficult moves now. Walking, running, jumping, crawling, swimming, punching, and kicking. All needed to get around the game's tricky environments. The game has temporary power-ups for coloured blocks, red, green and blue, that gives you special abilities. The wing cap lets you fly, the metal cap makes you invisible and lets you walk underwater, and the vanishing cap makes you see through so he can pass through certain walls. Super Mario 64 is recognised as one of the greatest and most influenced video game of all time. It set a standard for 3D platformers with an innovative controls, dynamic camera and open world design. That said though, it didn't quite cut it for me as a kid. Super Mario 64 was more of a statement in my opinion, proving that Nintendo is not out of the picture when coming down to 3D games. Being that said though, this was one of the main examples why it didn't cut it for me. It was the objective within the missions. After collecting a star, you would have to restart the game by going back to the hub and then entering the world again and then restarting it and then going in again, and the repetitiveness of this was making me mad. I preferred it when as if you collected a objective, you would keep going, that of which I can describe as Donkey Kong on the Super Nintendo system, on where you used to collect forest animals, the word Kong, etc, etc. This new game mechanic objective was not a personal favourite of mine, but later on in future designs of Mario, things started to change, and like I said, this was more of a statement. Number 4. Banjo and Kazooie. Banjo and Kazooie is a fun 3D platform game made by Rare for the Nintendo 64 in 1998. It's a collectathon platformer that takes what made Super Mario 64 great and adds its own twist. You explore colourful worlds and collect lots of items as you play through creative levels. The story follows Banjo and Kazooie, who team up to rescue Banjo's little sister, Tooty, from the evil witch Grunty. The witch wants to steal Tooty's beauty using a strange machine. So Banjo and Kazooie sets off on a quest to save Tooty from the evil witch before it's too late. As the player, you must guide the pair through Grunty's lair and explore 9 different worlds hidden inside. As you play, you collect important items, jigsaw pieces that can complete puzzles and unlock new worlds, musical notes that, if collected, these can open special doors in Grunty's lair. And Jinjos, these small little creatures are hidden in each world, like 5 of them, and you get an extra jigsaw piece puzzle. Rare, including 4J Studios, delivered another Nintendo classic for the next generation. The game stands out for its charming characters, vibrant atmosphere, and tag team gameplay reminiscent of the Donkey Kong Country series. Like Donkey Kong Country, players can switch between characters. Banjo handles claw swaps and rolls, whilst Kazooie, tucked in Banjo's backpack, lets you run faster, fly, shoot eggs, and perform ground pounds. Banjo and Kazooie has a key advantage over Super Mario 64. While Super Mario 64 sends you back to the main hub after collecting each star piece, Banjo and Kazooie let you stay in the level to complete multiple objectives, encouraging throughout exploration. This is the key core reason why Banjo Kazooie is at number 4 and Super Mario 64 is at number 5. Number 3, GoldenEye. GoldenEye was a shooting game made by Rare and released in 1997. Like other games based on films, it followed the story of the 1995 James Bond film GoldenEye. The game changed console shooters forever by adding a great story mode, stealth gameplay, and an amazing split screen multiplayer mode that friends could play together. You play as Agent James Bond, Pierce Brosnan from the film. The game begins in 1986 at a Russian weapons facility on where your partner, Agent 006, Alec Trevelyan, appears to get killed. 9 years later, someone steals a powerful satellite codenamed GoldenEye, and Bond must investigate and find out who has actually done this. GoldenEye was a different game from any other console shooters at the time, which were mostly about constant action like Doom. The missions had more varied objects than just reaching the end. You often had to rescue hostages, destroy equipment, or gather intelligence. On harder difficulties, you even had to do more tasks to complete the level. The game felt surprisingly realistic for its time, where you shot enemies mattered. A headshot would kill them, while shooting their gun, it would make them drop it. If you set off the alarm, more enemies would come running, so sneaking around quietly was often the smarter choice. The enemy AIs at the time was clever. Enemies behaved realistically, like taking cover or alerting other AI guards when you are spotted. Rare made a brilliant game and games in total for the Nintendo in the 90s. They focused on creating fun, high quality games that were easily enjoyed, not just making loads of titles. GoldenEye definitely deserves its spot at the number 3 list for this reason. Number 2, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. Let's switch gears for a moment. Imagine it's 1997. You're watching television, totally hooked on that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, giant robots, crazy villains, the lot. Now picture all that in a wild, colourful madness landing on Nintendo 64. That's Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. One of the most bizarre and brilliant games ever made, with amazing, colourful graphics and, not forgetting, weird storyline. Released in 1997, it's mixed 3D platforming, action, and wild Japanese comedy, and bizarrely made by Konami. It combined elements of Super Mario 64 and Legend of Zelda, but with its own unique, surreal style. The game begins in a small Japanese town when suddenly a group of flashy alien dancers, yes, you heard this right, flashy alien dancers, threatened to destroy Japan into a Western style theatrical stage. The heroes Goemon, Ibasumuru Sashu, and the ninja Yate must travel across the country to stop them. The story is packed with strange moments, jokes that break the fourth wall, and lots of Japanese culture references. Here's where it gets really Power Rangers like. Boss battles become giant robot fights. You actually control a massive Goemon robot from a first-person view, whilst a catchy J-pop song playing in the background, complete with subtitles on the screen. But there's more than just robot battles. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon mixes open world exploration, action filled dungeons, and switching between characters along the way. You can play as 4 different characters, each with special skills. For example, Ibashumaru can shrink to squeeze through tiny spaces, whilst the robot Shashuki can use a jetpack to jump higher. The graphics look amazing on the N64 with brilliant colours that still look good today. The music, however, think traditional Japanese instruments mixed with 90s pop music. Really catchy stuff, but bizarre when you played this game for the very first time. Yes, the camera wasn't perfect and the game sometimes slowed down, but when you're controlling a giant robot whilst J-pop plays, who cares? Critics didn't quite understand the humour and weird style back then, but now players are finally recognising its hidden treasures. Quirky, funny, and way ahead of its time. For me, it will be definitely number 2 and a pick on my list. If I had a choice to get an N64 tomorrow, I would definitely pick up this game. It is just so, it's like what I said previously, it was so advanced for its time. The market was not ready for it. And now that the market has caught up with games like that, players are starting to identify it as a retro game more. Anyway, people, let's have a look at our honourable mentions. And whilst these are playing, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, people. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. The Ocarina of Time came out in 1998. After playing early Zelda games on the Game Boy and Super Nintendo, this one had to become my fan favourite. Even today, many people consider this to be one of the greatest games out there. It's the first Zelda game that truly became 3D and changed the genre of action adventure games forever. The story is about trying to save the kingdom of Hyrule from the evil Ganondorf. You begin as young Link. The Great Deku Tree sends Link to deliver a message to Princess Zelda at the castle. Zelda warns Link that Ganondorf plans to take over Hyrule. To stop him, Link needs to find spiritual stones. After collecting them, Link goes back to the castle and sees Zelda on a horse riding away from Ganondorf. She quickly throws back an ocarina to Link and tells him to go to the Temple of Time. When Link pulls out the Master Sword from the Temple of Time, he gets locked away for 7 years until he's old enough to use it properly. When he awakes again, he finds that the kingdom of Hyrule has been turned to darkness thanks to the evil Ganondorf. The game introduces new ideas to 3D adventure games. The time travel feature is similar to Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, where Link travels between worlds instead, is incorporated and revolutionized into the game. You can jump between 7 years in the future or back again at any time, as long as though you put the Master Sword back. This changes the world and unlocks new areas. Young Link and adult Link can do different things and go to different places. The Z targeting system took some getting used to. In the old games, you looked down from above, which made fighting easier, but in 3D format for the very first time. The Z targeting system made battles feel more exciting and real. The ocarina music wasn't completely new. It appeared in A Link to the Past and many other Zelda titles. Hyrule Fields acts as a large open area that connects every kingdom together. Seeing it for the first time was amazing and unforgettable, and still to this day, as I go back to this game, it still remains a remarkable game. This game still reminds me of the good old days when I spent hours and hours riding Epona, playing the ocarina and getting stuck in the water temple. Even to this day, my father whistles the theme song of Epona. He doesn't even realise that he's actually whistling Epona's song. He just does it because it is stuck in his head. I even question him sometimes, do you know where that is from? And he does not have a clue. At the time, he did actually play Legend of Zelda, and he did really enjoy this game. When I started playing it again, it brought back memories for him a lot. Well, that is it for another episode. I would love to know what your thoughts were on my top 5 picks by leaving your views in the comment section down below. Feel free to share your top 5 games on the Nintendo 64. Be sure to check out previous episodes on youtube.com/@TheRuggedGamer, and don't forget to give that like button a hit, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining, and yet again, this is Flip signing out for another episode.